All right. So before we get started, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Josh Gossard. I'm a former Market Center team leader here in Frederick, Maryland. I'm back into production full time as of March of this year. I'm KWU certified, and I'm excited to be teaching with you guys this evening. We're going to talk about capturing more leads with open houses and capturing more leads with social media. So open houses and social media is the topic of discussion this evening. Two things that I'm excited about is open houses and social media. And before we jump into the content, I would like to ask you each, if possible, could you drop in the chat where you're from, your city and state? I'm from Frederick, Maryland. If you could drop your city and state in the chat, I would love that. I'm always curious where people are joining us from. Still have more people joining in, which is great. Fairfax, Virginia. Okay, let's see, where's the chat? DC, Virginia, Long Island, New York in the house. Illinois, Fayetteville, North Carolina. Lots of folks from Virginia. Baton Rouge, Louisiana. How about that? Awesome. Okay, so we got some folks from all over the place. All right, so I'm glad that I asked that question because I don't know exactly how real estate is practiced in Louisiana. I don't know exactly how it's practiced in North Carolina. I don't know how it's practiced in New York, any of those areas. So I'm going to be sharing my experiences based on Maryland. So when we get into this and start talking about some things, there might be some discrepancies based on where I'm at geographically in our jurisdictions and what's allowed here versus what's allowed there. There might be things that are allowed there that aren't allowed here, all that jazz. So just know that I might share some ideas or some thoughts or some strategies that might not be acceptable where you are. So if you hear something that sounds a little off, that doesn't sound necessarily like you might be able to do that in your area, please consult with your broker of record there, and make sure everything's good to go on your end on that side. Please don't go do something that's kind of walking the line, and then when you get your wrist slapped, say, "Well, Josh told me to do this." Don't pull that because I told you to check with your broker. So there, and that's recorded, by the way. All right. Again, my name is Josh Gossard. I'm super excited to be with you all this evening. If you are able to do it safely, please turn on your camera. Please engage, ask questions. I like to have fun, make this playful, interactive, more of a conversation, more so than me just boring you to death with a lecture while we do a slideshow. I am going to follow the slides. That's just to help me stay on track to make sure we cover all the content. But please, let's try to make this conversational. Let me find the share screen here again. I am in my garage. If you can hear my dog rustling around, I apologize. I'm home alone, and if I don't have him in here with me, he's just going to cry at the door. So this is better than that. All right, so we're talking about capturing leads with open houses this evening. I'm kind of curious before we jump into this, or as we're jumping into this, what are some of the challenges you're having with open houses? And this is where you can come off mute and participate in the conversation.
Hey, so this is Kevin from Michigan. So I'm very new to it. I've probably been licensed for about 3 weeks. This is I obviously have a full-time job during the day. I don't necessarily say I have challenges, but I'm lucky that I just joined my wife. She's been an agent for how many years now?
Since 2017.
Since 2017. So I've helped her set up things for open houses. She's gotten quite a few of her leads from open houses. So I don't know if I necessarily have a challenge other than probably doing one myself eventually.
Okay, what's the challenge with doing it yourself?
Well, just anytime you do something the first time, right? And so there's always, even though I've seen her do it, there's always the unknowns of doing it yourself, correct? That's all. It's just
Absolutely.
doing it.
You know what? I'm doing an open house this Saturday, and there's some unknowns still.
Yep.
There's unknowns every time you go out. I see a hand raised. I think it's Jamila Reed. Jamila, would you
Hi.
like to come off mute? Hi,
Yeah,
how are
I'm
you?
here. Yes. And yeah, it is Jamila. Thank you. So I've done a few open houses, and the challenge I find is getting the buyers to the open house. Like
Okay,
when
so
we
driving
have,
traffic.
yes.
All right.
And, sometimes it'll be like we'll have 10 or 15 come through a neighborhood. So these are not very large neighborhoods I'm dealing with. They're new constructions a lot of times. So 10 or 15 people may ride through, but then like maybe one or two families will stop by. And they're not quite wholly decided on what home they want to get or what area they want to be in. So it's a little bit of frustration there in trying to make sure we're getting the right buyers and the traffic.
Okay. When you're holding these listings open, are they your listings, other agents' listings? Like,
So they're mainly new constructions I've been doing so far. I have had only one listing for another agent. They're not my listings.
okay. So look, you described folks coming in, they're undecided on what they want, where they want to be. I think that's a huge opportunity to help them figure that out. Right? If somebody knows
Right.
exactly what they want, exactly where they want to be, normally that's they can be a little more challenging because they're so precise and you don't have as much influence. But if someone's coming in and they don't really have a clue of what they're looking for, where they want to be, what better opportunity do you have to actually help them by sitting down and asking questions and demonstrating how you can be a consultant and helping them figure that out? I think that's a huge opportunity. As far as driving traffic there, you kind of took the wind out of my sails when you said there's not many homes in the neighborhood, because there's a lot of opportunity when you're in a neighborhood, of course, with a lot of properties with door knocking and such. And we'll talk about that a little later. But as far as driving traffic, we'll get into some strategies a little later here this evening as we get into this. Thank you for coming off mute, both of you, Jamila and is it Kevin? Kevin. And then Chris, I see your hand up.
Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, I can hear you just fine.
I'm pretty green to all of this. I don't only been in for about a month, but is the goal, I don't even know the goal of an open house. Is it to find your own leads, or is it to find buyers for that house, or is it both?
Yes. It's all of those, all of the above. And we're going to talk about that tonight too. Goals for your open house. That's actually a very specific thing that we're going to talk about. Now, where are you located, Chris?
I'm at the Midlothian office in outside of Richmond, Virginia.
Okay, so I'm not exactly sure how it works in Virginia. I know in Maryland, our first priority is to sell the listing. That's always the first priority. It's actually kind of written into the listing agreement. Like, while we're there at the open house, we represent the seller. So our first priority is to sell that listing. So I want to make sure that's my broker hat right there. So that's my my broker answer. But of course, you're always looking for more prospective buyers, more prospective sellers. And I'm actually going to share a few strategies this evening on how you can use the open house to generate seller leads. We want to talk about that a little bit.
So in that situation, if you find a buyer, do you split the commission with the listing agent? Or I don't even know how that works.
Typically, I would say no, but that depends on the agreement you have with the listing agent. That depends on the agreement you've made with them. Typically, I would say no.
Okay.
All right. Awesome. Who else? Is there any other challenges that you're having with open houses?
I was I put in the thing, I went to my first open house last Saturday. This is my 3rd week. And so I just wanted to see what it was all about. And, this particular house already had, I want to say 3 offers on it. It had been on the market for 1 day before this open house. And at the open house, there were only, 2 families that came through. One was a family, the other was a husband and wife who were already clients of the agent. They were just, I don't know if they were coming there on their own time or if they were coming to actually see her. It was her husband that was running the open house, but I was like, wow, that was kind of a waste of time.
For you or for them?
Well, for the husband and wife agent team, for 3 hours to have this house open, and it already had offers on the table, and then such low attendance.
Well, all right, perfect. So here's one thing I want to share right now. Thank you for bringing that up because this is a great point we might not have gotten to otherwise. Here's the thing. If you do 1 open house a month, you might have certain results. If you do 1 open house a week, it's pretty safe to say you'll have better results. If you do 2 open houses a week, it's pretty safe to say you'll have even better results. Because here's the thing. You can do an open house every single week and have different attendance every single time. I can't make any sense of it. Now, I know there's things that we can do to drive attendance. There's things that we can do to have a better idea of how many people will show up, but it's still kind of hit and miss. I have people that'll do a handful of open houses a year and then they poo-poo on open houses saying open houses don't work. Well, yeah, if you only do 1 or 2 or a handful throughout the year, yeah, they're not going to work. You're not doing enough. You're not doing enough volume to have success with it, right? So this 1 open house may have been a bust. If you do open houses, you will have an open house that's a bust, right? If you do enough of them, you will. But if you do enough of them, you'll also have tremendous success with them. My very first 2 closings I ever had came from the same open house. Now, I had done several open houses before I met those clients, but the very first 2 closings I ever had in my career came from the same open house.
Okay, thank you for that. But actually, I wasn't trying to poo-poo it.
No.
It kind of sounded that way. I guess it was disappointing, my first open house, and there were only 2 that showed up at it. And, it was kind of like they already had offers on the house. So, but I get it. I completely get it. That makes so much sense.
And Andy, I'm not saying I didn't hear it that way at all from you. I just know the way you said it. Somebody else might hear it and be like, "Oh yeah, that does sound like a waste of time. I'm not doing that." But here's the thing: no matter what you do, there's nothing is going to work 100% of the time. Nothing. It doesn't exist. But with the open houses, the more chances you get out in front of people, the better chances you're going to have. Kevin, I see your hand up again. You're on mute, my friend.
So, yeah, what I was going to say is with Joy, she had a listing and she had an open house, and then she actually had an offer and a contract, but it had a contingency. So her buyer decided that she wanted to keep the open houses going. Well, there was another buyer that came in that wanted to make an offer. So there's a second offer. So even though she already had one, and then with the contingency, the way it was written is that there was no way that they could pull that contingency, because then they had to be able to finalize things within 72 hours. It's the way that it was written. So realistically, because they kept running the open house, they got another buyer, which actually came out to be a full price offer, which was better than the other offer. And that's just the way the situation worked out. And she's done open houses. I can probably see where she's gone out there and had nobody. But it only takes one interested party to buy a house. That's it.
That's it. You're absolutely right. So a couple of limiting beliefs that I see when I'm talking with people about open houses are here on the screen. I don't have a listing to hold open. Does anyone at your brokerage have a listing you can hold open? I'm doing an open house this weekend for another agent in our office. I've been doing this now, let's see, I started in 2015. I've been doing this now 9 years. I'm still doing listings for other agents. I'm not above that. It's a beautiful house, beautiful price point. I'm excited to get out there and get in front of people. I'm excited to door knock the neighborhood. If there's an agent in your office that has listings, you have the opportunity to have an open house. Now, I will say in Maryland, again, this is where we get into some jurisdictional things. In Maryland, you can only do open houses for other agents at your brokerage. You have to have the same broker. I know in certain states and certain jurisdictions, you can do open houses for other brokerages. Again, consult with your broker to make sure you're doing this above board and staying in line with the guidelines. I don't have signs yet. Again, I've done open houses with generic signs from Amazon. It just says open house in the directional. I've borrowed agents' signs from our office before. I'm sure if you're with a KW office, I'm sure you probably have a private office Facebook group. Feel free to post on there. Hey, I'd like to do an open house. I don't have any signs. Can I borrow someone's signs? I'm sure someone will let you borrow their signs. It's the KW culture. I'm confident you'll find people that can help you with that. I may not know the answers to the questions visitors have. You know what? This is what I shared with Kevin. I may not have the answers either. That's just the name of this game. We will never have all the answers. One thing I will say for sure is if you have a fireplace in that house, figure out if that fireplace works, because someone at the open house is going to ask you that question. You can almost guarantee you that one. Open houses don't really work because people look online. Well, you know, how many people look online before they go out and actually see a property with an agent, actually do a tour? It's the same thing. People are going to come out and look at properties. I won't feel safe. Okay. This is a personal thing. I know one of the things that you can do to help feel safer and also increase the value you bring to an open house is ask a lender to come sit at the open house with you. Remember I shared that open house where my first two clients came from the same open house. One of them got pre-qualified right there at the kitchen table during the open house. So don't be afraid to ask your lender partners. Lenders need buyer business too. Any other thoughts or limiting beliefs we might have that we can talk about here with this? No? All right. We're moving right along then. All right. So with the open house, we know that the sellers, buyers, and the neighbors and you as the agent benefit. Let's talk about this a little bit because this will help with our mindset some. So this might be an obvious question, but I want to ask it anyway. How does the seller benefit from the open house?
It gives them
More
an option.
buyers, more
Yes.
people coming through and looking at the house.
Yes. Is it? Thank you, Geraldine. Finn, was that you?
Yep.
Yeah,
Were you saying the same thing?
I was saying the same thing, so that's why I kept I kept quiet.
Yeah, more traffic, right? Who knows? Like, I've had several times where I'm at an open house and the buyers come and they are working with an agent. They come in, the agent wasn't available to show them the house, right? In this market, homes are selling so quickly, the agent might not have the ability to get there fast enough. So this gives everybody an opportunity to come in and see the home, right? How else does the seller benefit from an open house? Kevin, I see your hand.
So it shows that number one, you're willing to put through the effort. You get their house seen, and it's a personal connection between you, the seller, and their home. You're able
Yep.
to display their home for them.
Yep. There's
You get
another way.
feedback.
Yes, Geraldine, bingo. I almost said there's another way that might not seem so obvious, but you nailed it. How long have you been doing this, Geraldine?
The month.
Wow. Okay. Well, you nailed it. Normally people don't pick up on that benefit so quickly, but kudos to you. Yeah, you get feedback. If you get 15, 20 people through that house on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon, you're going to hear opinions of all different people, which is great because you know what? I might show up at the house and think, man, this house is beautiful. The seller, of course, loves it. They've lived there for 12 years. It's the best house on the planet. So we need that feedback from prospective buyers. That's great. How else could a seller benefit? I don't know if there is anything else. I was just wondering if you guys had any ideas. Chris, I see your hand up.
I just figured maybe kind of that fear factor. If there's a lot of foot traffic and they see that there's a lot of people, they might get nervous if they want it and offer a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah, the fear, FOMO, fear of missing out. You can create a false sense of competition. It's funny because one of the things that I would hear agents say when we talk about open houses is, oh, just the nosy neighbors came to the open house. I'm like, I want the nosy neighbors to come to the open house. In fact, I prefer the nosy neighbors to come to the open house because you know what they're doing? They're interviewing listing agents. That's what they're doing. They might be thinking about listing their home in the back of their head, and they want to see how you're showing up at the open house. That's an interview. Finn, I see your hand up again.
I wanted to add, I think it also create competition for potential buyers.
Yes, absolutely. Very much so. All right, buyers. Let's talk about buyers. How do buyers benefit from an open house?
I have one. It's creating a low pressure environment for the buyers.
So,
So it's like, you know, they might feel not as pressured, you know, like somebody's selling them something. They can look around the house, you know, like comfortably. Like some people are not comfortable with that kind of pressure, right?
yep. Finn, I see your hand. Thank you, Maria. Finn, I see your hand up. Is it still up? Okay. I think it might have just been still up from before. All right. So we have low pressure environment. They can tour the home in a low pressure environment. How else could buyers benefit?
So I would say, like, so with a house, when you can physically go there, you get a feeling for it. You can see it. You can look at things, and so you can feel what you're. Because on a piece of paper or the internet, you can't feel anything. You can sense. You can see the neighborhood. You can see the surroundings, and you can see where it fits. And you can do you feel like you can have this? And then if you have your family with you, you get a sense on how they react to the house or the home.
Absolutely. Yep. Thank you, Kevin. You know what else you can't do online or on paper? You can't smell the house. You can't smell the house online or on paper. Tanisha, I see your hand up.
Yeah. Well, for buyers, open houses, they get to not only get a feel of the house, they get a feel of the neighborhood, they get a feel of also, they can also get introduced to realtors. I've attended open houses with some people in my offices, and some of the buyers just go online and look because they have so much access to, like, you know, online sites now. So they just look and just show up at open house. And one time a buyer didn't even understand the whole entire process of what was, you know, how to actually get pre-approved and everything. So just having that conversation with realtors, they're able to understand the buying process more. And, you know, as a realtor, you can possibly get a lead from that.
Yep, we're going to talk about benefits for the agent here in just a moment. But Tanisha, I'm curious, has anyone ever told you you have like the most amazing radio voice? Like, you should launch a podcast. You have an exceptional, You have an exceptional radio voice. I love it. Thank you.
Oh, thank
Yes.
you. I never heard that before, but thank you. I actually do yoga, so that's probably why I have that tone.
Yeah, it's a very
Yoga
calm,
instructor.
soothing, comforting voice. So thank you
Thank
for
you.
sharing. Sarah, I see your hand up.
Yeah, it's just that I feel like sometimes when I'm doing showing the houses and that house is not interested to the person as a buyer to come and see, then if she or he is gonna come without the agent, I can give him, like, the buyer can benefit from the agent of saying, okay, maybe this house is not what you're looking for, but I can help you. And then he gonna or she is going to have more information regarding the other houses that is available through that agent, and then, you know, find the desired house that he's or she is looking for.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Sarah. Taryn, I see your hand. I think you're on mute, my friend.
I was going to say, from my experience of taking my buyers to open houses, they get the feel of the house, obviously going in right away. But if they like it so much and if they're pre-approved, they can put an offer in that day. And in my market, houses, as soon as they come up, they come off. So it's beneficial for them to get that in as soon as possible.
Yes, absolutely. Here's one that we haven't touched on. Well, I mean, we've kind of touched on it, but not so much. Everyone's following the news right now around this NAR settlement, right? We know, like, after August or something like that, technically every buyer is going to have an agency agreement with a realtor, meaning they're going to have hired an agent, officially hired an agent, and agreed to some form of compensation with that agent before they go out and tour any homes. We all understand that, correct? Okay. Open houses are the exception to that. Open houses are kind of their back door, an unrepresented buyer's back door into seeing properties without having to hire an agent. So open houses will tremendously increase in value to us as the agents, to the sellers, and to potential buyers here in just a couple of weeks when this change goes into effect. So if you haven't been a fan of open houses in the past for whatever reason, I would challenge you to reevaluate that, considering the new circumstances that are ahead of us. All right, there's a couple of comments in the chat. I apologize, I haven't been paying the best attention to the chat. One, Jessica says you can get your brand in front of people. That's going to be a benefit to us as an agent. We're going to talk about that in just a second. Actual homes sometimes look different than photos online. Yes, absolutely. I swear, sometimes the real estate photographers do better than the tender photographers. It's crazy. Buyers are not obligated to work with one agent. Yep, we just talked about that. Akila agrees with me, Tanisha, on your radio voice. So that's two of us. Sarah says, is this happening in Canada too? Sarah, I'm not sure what's happening in Canada with this change with the way real estate compensation works. I just know that this is a big deal in the United States, and it's going to go into effect in August.
So it's not the same rule. It's not the same rule in Canada, no? It's just in the States?
I believe it's just in the United States. I can't speak to Canada. Serena says we have different laws, which I know to be correct. I would consult with your folks there to see if there's any changes coming your way. I can't speak to that yes or no, and I hate to give you inaccurate information. But here's what I do know. If this was coming, you would probably know. It's a big deal. It's a really big deal. All right, so fourth and final, how does it benefit us as the agent? We've already shared that it gets our brand in front of other people. I can't stress how important that is. That is huge. That's one of the benefits of having a listing, is the branding and marketing opportunities. I see Finn again. Finn, did you change your background? Did you move rooms?
Yeah, it's too dark in my bedroom.
Okay, yeah, you're much brighter room here. I'm like, it's all right. I'm not tripping. All right, Finn, what you got? How does it benefit the agent?
Well, for me as a new agent, I think it exposes me to experience and gives me ideas in how I relate to potential buyers. So
I love that. It gives you practice, right? Practice, practice, practice. Tanisha, see your hand again.
Yeah, I agree with that for practice. A lot of practice because you know, you learn so much in the schooling, and then when you actually get into a home, it's like learning about the boilers, and you get to understand the roofing, and you get to understand a lot about the actual home itself and how to actually, you know, market a home and everything. So you get a lot of practice when you attend open houses.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Tanisha. Taryn, I see your hand again. Or is it still up from before?
It's still up. Sorry about that.
Okay, no problem. I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss you. How else does it benefit us as the agent? Kevin.
Gives you the opportunity to build your database or data bank, more contacts, more people. And that's one of the things I would say.
Yes, absolutely. What else? Thank you, Kevin. How many times can you post on social media for an open house?
as much as you can.
As much as you want. As much as you want, as much as you can. So think about that. There's all the social media touches you can do. There's the database email touches you can do. Like there's all that stuff that you can do. You can go and door knock the neighborhood, right? You can door knock the neighborhood, invite the neighbors to the open house. You can go and door knock local businesses about the open house. Like you can do all kinds of stuff with the open house. How else can it benefit you as the agent?
I think it also gives you strategy in how to maybe, I wouldn't say convince buyers, but be able to provide them with insight and resources that can help them make a decision if they are not, firm in buying a home. So.
Yes. Yep, absolutely. And again, when this law goes into effect, when this change goes into effect, this is going to be a great opportunity to meet even more unrepresented buyers. Over in the chat, it says, gives the agent perspective regarding the home and how it's showing. That's going back to feedback. Candace says, open houses get your name and brand out there on social media. You get the opportunity to get as many people through all in one day. Absolutely. Lydia says, gain future listings through meeting the neighbors, which they may become future sellers. Absolutely. If you're able to get if you're able to get the neighbors to leave their house, the comfort of their home, and come visit you at the open house, there's a good chance that they're going to be they're interviewing you as a potential listing agent in the future. Candace, I see your hand open.
Yes. Hello. Couple thoughts. There's a saying that says people want what people want. People want what other people want. Something. And anyway, so if there's people that are seeing other people and they're all going through this house, yeah, I mean, they may hear some nice comments from this couple or nice comments from that guy or whatever, and it can encourage them to get an offer in quickly. The other thing I was thinking, we have put out information about open houses on Thursdays, and that has caused people to view the house on Friday and Saturday and have offers come in hopes of stopping our open house. So just putting it out there on the MLS and, that we're going to have one sometimes can get people to put in offers quickly to stop them.
To that point, Candace, I personally
And good offers.
I have written offers for my buyers, of course, where we'll say we'll offer X amount above asking price if you accept it today before the open house. Like, so it's like, let's say our offer is 500, but we'll give you 515 today if you accept it today before going into the weekend and doing the open house. So that's a great point. Excellent point. Going back over to the chat, see, practicing your dialogue, conversations, building rapport, building your confidence creates urgency. Yep. Just talked about that. Geraldine says she did that with the current house. Javante, you have your hand up, sir.
Hey, yeah, man. Another thing we do is it allows sellers to have the opportunity to pick their neighbors. We go out and we door knock when we're doing open house. We say, hey, we're doing an open house up the street. If you know anyone, any family or friends in the market, feel free to have them come out. Who better to help pick your neighbors than yourself, you know? So that's another opportunity. It gives the other homeowners the opportunity, gives them control, you know. Maybe I can impact the outcome. Maybe I can get
There
my
you
family
go.
over here, you know?
Perfect. Yep. I forgot all about that one. Great point. You guys are doing a great job. I love the engagement. Thank you all so much for participating. It makes it so much easier and so much more fun for me to do this as the instructor rather than just preaching all evening. So thank you all so much for participating. All right. So we talked about a lot of benefits of the open house as far as this goes. A couple of things that I want to highlight here on the screen. It's inexpensive to do, especially for newer agents. Like, this doesn't cost a ton of money. When I'm talking about any type of strategy, I'm looking at it from good, better, best, right? Best practice would be if you had your own branded signs, right? But if you don't have your own branded signs, there's nothing stopping you from doing the open house. You can still do this with somebody else's sign. So start where you're at and build up to the best practices. It's a great prospecting tool. I think we really have driven that home. I think we're all in agreement of that. There's a high ROI. I think there's a high ROT. Do you know what ROT is? Who knows what ROT is?
Return on time.
Return on time. So ROI is return on investment, meaning cash investment, return on the amount of money that you're going to spend doing this. I think open houses are a great return on time because, again, if nothing else, if you get people in there, even if you don't pick up any clients, you've been able to script practice. You've been able to practice answering questions and engaging with people. All that good stuff. Kevin.
Yes.
You look like you are participating on a computer. Is that correct?
I'm actually on an iPad right now. I have my computer over to the right.
Okay. All right. Never mind. I was going to ask a favor of you. I'll ask if we have any volunteers. Would anyone like to volunteer to be a co-host and let people in from the waiting room? Would anyone like to do that for me?
I can help you.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm going to make you a co-host. And then when you see people coming in from the waiting room, can you just let them in? I just looked down and there was 4 people waiting there. I don't know how long they were waiting there. So if you could watch that for me, that would be great. We're up to 89 folks tonight. So that's a great crowd. Awesome crowd. Let me visit the chat while I'm here. Chris Spawn asked in the chat, he asked, is there a standard amount of time an open house should last? I don't know that there's a standard. I typically run mine for 2 hours. I've heard opposing arguments. I've heard holding them for a shorter period of time. An open house, like let's say you do it for an hour instead of 2 hours, it causes more people to come to increase that FOMO. I don't like that so much. I want to give me personally, I want to give more people a chance to get in and have time. I don't want to do it longer than 2 hours, quite frankly, because I don't want to do it longer than 2 hours on a Saturday or Sunday. I got other things I want to do. I think 2 hours is long enough. That's for me. Whatever you want to do, whatever you think works for you, you would do the same thing. In line with that question, I get asked often, what's the best time to hold the open house? I haven't seen it really vary. I've seen it normally from 10 in the morning is when they start. Typically around 2 or 3 in the afternoon is when they stop. So anytime within that window, I think you'll have success. I've also seen to be very successful twilight open houses throughout the week. Thursday and Friday evening open houses. I've seen those be very, very successful, especially if you're in a urban downtown area that has a lot of foot traffic. Tremendous success in those type of neighborhoods. I see a hand up. Is it Sharice?
Yes, or you can call me Charlie. So I have a question. I am attending many of the shadowing opportunities, and just to get out there and not only perhaps meet new potential future clients, but also working with the other agent that is hosting the open house himself or herself. And so it's just easy to talk to members as they're coming through the house. But last weekend, I was over in Virginia, and there was a client a potential buyer that said he didn't want representation of an agent because he wanted to save the seller 2.5% of the cost. So he was willing to go without an agent and just purchase the home.
Okay.
How do we, my thoughts were, okay, hopefully he would give me the opportunity, and he has my business card, and we can talk through that. But at the same time, my goal would be to share with him there is a lot more paperwork and other documentation that I can assist you with to help you move forward. I understand that your goal is to help the seller save money. However, there are some nits and crannies that you may not be aware of, and I'm here to assist you. But what would your recommendation be?
All right. So I would just have a very frank conversation with this buyer. I would ask them if they've ever bought a home before, right? Chances are someone that wants to do that, they probably have not bought a home before because they don't have the experience. So I would go a step further. And again, this is where your jurisdiction might be different. I can only speak to Maryland. I know in Maryland, the way a listing agreement is written right now is there's a total percentage. Let's say I'm not discussing standard or typical percentages. I'm just going to say there's a certain percentage that's offered as a total. The way that works currently is I, as the listing agent, am offering a portion of that to a co-op agent. If another agent isn't involved, I get all of the commission. So the seller's not saving the commission. Also, the seller isn't just going to agree to drop the price to sell to an unrepresented buyer. In fact, usually it's better for the seller to sell to a represented buyer, usually, because when the buyer wants to do something stupid during the home inspection period, a professional agent can kind of talk through this with them and help them make a better decision. So it's typically in the seller's best interest for the buyer to be represented as well. And that might be contrary, that might be debatable, but in my experience, in my opinion, it's usually better for everyone involved when both parties are represented separately. That's been my experience.
And I'm an agent here in Maryland on the Maryland side with you, but I'm with the Arlington office, Metro Center office. But yeah, and come to find out, he was a newlywed, just got married. And so he's out shopping for homes. So hopefully I get the opportunity to, he give me a call and we work something out so that I'll have the opportunity to brief him on, you don't want to go down this road by yourself. You at least want some assistance that can better help you, purchase and qualify for the home.
Yeah.
So,
and yeah, you're absolutely welcome. And I believe also in the back of your student manual, there are scripts and dialogues. I believe there's an objection handler for that specifically. If not, I imagine you guys are probably at least familiar with Jeff Glover. gloveru.com. If you go to gloveru.com, free resources, there's a ton of scripts available there for a free download. I know for a fact that exact scenario is addressed in those resources if it's not in the back of your resources book here. But so let me go to the chat real quick. Candace, no, it wasn't Candace. It was Sharita asked, are snacks necessary? No, snacks are not necessary. Small bottles of water are probably a good idea. I don't like snacks because I don't want to run the risk of making a mess. So I've heard of people having snacks and all that good stuff. I don't want snacks there because I don't want a mess. Is printing necessary? CMAs, residential disclosures. Okay. I take, actually, you know what? I'm going to hold on that because we're going to get into prep. We're going to discuss that when we talk about preparation. How do I get the recordings? I haven't received any of the past classes. You're going to have to take that up with Alana. I'm not sure exactly how the recordings work.
There was a link in the email. I believe it was Tuesday. There was a link in the email for previous recordings.
Okay,
for Ignite.
There you go. Thank you, Kevin. Tony asked, what's the benefit of a broker's open? All right. Again, this might be a controversial opinion, but it's my opinion and I don't care because it's mine. You might have your own and that's cool. I think the point of a broker's open, unless you're dealing with a very, very unique property, like a truly unique property, or a high-end luxury. I mean, like high-end, like in Maryland, it would be more than $2 million. I think the point of a broker's open is to get a price reduction. That's the point of a broker's open. That's my unfiltered raw opinion. All right, moving along. We got a lot of ground to cover. What are some ahas that you have so far? Is this good this evening? Is this worth the cost of admission so far?
Most definitely.
Okay, good. I don't think you guys paid anything, so.
It's like an open house. It's free.
It's free. I just typed in the chat. It's actually Jeff Glover's, gloveru.com, I believe. If you just search Glover U Coaching, if you just Google Glover U Coaching, I'm sure you'll find it. All right. What are some of the good nuggets you've heard so far from our time together this evening? What's something you heard that was like, wow, that's really good. I'm going to take that with me.
They're a great way to prospect new leads.
Okay.
Easy
Anything
way
else?
to get leads. Low cost and easy way for new agents.
Yes, absolutely. So let's get into some of the best practices. We're going to set goals. This is what we talked about earlier. You might set a goal. You might say you want to have X number of people at the open house. You might say you want to have a goal. You're going to hit X number of social media posts for the open house. It might be we want to knock X number of doors at the open house. Right? Those are some goals that you can set around the open house. Are there any other goals that you might be able to think of?
You can even set a goal to try to get a listing, because I've always heard my coach say, once one house sell on the block, then another house is probably going to sell following. So you can possibly get a listing, set goals to probably get 1 or 2 listings, or even have a listing appointment, get a listing appointment.
Yep, absolutely. What about if you just set a goal to hold X number of open houses in a month? Guys, when I started, I was just doing 2, 3, sometimes 4 in a week. I would do 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday at times. I would literally go do an open house, pick up the signs, go to the next open house, and I'm doing 2 in a day. It works. It's a good opportunity. You want to pick the house, of course. Now, if it's your listing, you don't have as much control over the house. But if you're picking a house, like let's say you go to the MLS and you pull your office's listings, you might be selective and maybe picking one that isn't or is in a neighborhood that's highly walkable, highly desirable, and that sweet spot price point. It looks good. Maybe the neighborhood has a lot of amenities that will drive traffic. That way you get the best return on your time, right? If you have that ability, right? You're going to prepare and practice. You might practice your door knocking script. You might go to the home. Actually, you should, if it's not, especially if it's not your listing, you should tour the home prior to the open house, not like the morning of, like the Thursday before. So that way, if you have questions about the property, you can ask the listing agent or the seller. So that way you have an opportunity to really get familiar with the property before you get in there. So prepare and practice. This is where it talks about, I said we were going to wait a minute to discuss the pre-printed CMAs and the disclosures. I don't pull a CMA. I will print out the MLS listing. I will print out some of my MOFRs. Does everybody know what a MOFR is? Okay, I'm going to assume that's a no. If you're taking notes, I want you to write MOFIR. So you're going to write MOFR going down. MOFIR. Make offer for immediate response. Make offer for immediate response. So what it could look like is I would have a QR code there, and I would say something along the lines of home values in Frederick County are up. I think it's what, 49%? Home values in Frederick County up 49% since 2019. Scan the QR code for a free home valuation to see what your home is worth. That's like an offer now, like do this now. Like you don't have to wait, right? It might be, I might have something like, let's see. Oh, the cash offer. Need to sell quick? Scan the QR code to request a cash offer on your home today. Right? You see those cash offer MOFRs all the time. It's a great MOFR. That's all a MOFR is. It's making an offer for them to do something right now. How many of you have made a social media post or a text message or an email and it said, if you're ever thinking about buying or selling a home, give me a call. I'm your agent for life, something along those lines. Quick show of hands. I know I'm not the only one. That is not a MOFR. That's thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Ben, so much for being honest. Tanisha, there we go. Some honesty in here. That is not an offer for an immediate response. That is an offer for a delayed response. That's not going to cause someone to act now. That's not going to cause them to act now. You want everything everything you're sending out, you want immediate response. Make an offer for immediate response. All right. I am going to, back to the preparation. I'm going to print out a copy of the disclosures. I'm going to have them there. I'm going to have one copy for them to view. I'm not going to give everybody a copy of the disclosures. I'm not wasting that much paper. I'm going to have one copy for them to review. I'm going to have the MLS printout. I'm going to print like 10 or 20 of those, depending on how hot the property is. I'm going to print 10 or 20 of my my MOFR sheets, and I'm going to put that with the thing, and that's what I'm going to have, and that's what I'm going to pass out. I am old fashioned. I like the old pen and paper sign in. I know there's apps you can use. I know there's ways that you can do electronically. They get automatically put into your email and on your drip campaigns and all that good stuff. That's great. I feel more comfortable with the old school pen and paper method. Yolanda, I see your hand up. Do you have a question, or is that still up from before?
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's up from before. I apologize.
No problem. I just wanted to make sure we didn't miss you. That's all. Get into the make offer. Yep. Okay, thank you. Okay, so we're talking about preparing in practice. You're gonna pick the time. Saturday, Sunday, are you doing a twilight? What are you gonna do? You're gonna pick the time and you're gonna start promoting that. The best time is the time you're actually gonna do it. And then you're gonna know the market stats. You wanna know what's going on in your market. You wanna know what's going on in that neighborhood. You wanna know if there's a house across the street for sale, if there's a house around the corner for sale, you wanna know about it. You wanna be like very aware of this stuff. And so much so, friends, that you wanna check like the morning of. Check the MLS the morning of to make sure nothing has changed with any of the properties in the neighborhood. And then finally, you want to make sure you're safe. So use the buddy system, arrive early, park on the street, check all entrances and exits, make sure your cell phone is charged, turn on the lights, of course. These slides are a little dated. It says to check your local COVID guidelines. That's a little dated, but follow market center guidelines and checklists for open houses. Make sure people know where you're at. If you feel funny about someone, trust your gut. Okay. Questions or ahas about anything we've covered so far?
Mofer.
Oh, that's great. And we're going to talk about that a lot on the social media one next. Charisse, I see your hand.
Yes. So quick question. What would be a nice suggestion, recommendations when you have homes that are coming up for sale, but you have a whole new development right across the street or around the corner? How do you convince the buyers to, here's a new home, well, here's a home that's 5 years old compared to walking in a brand new home right around the corner? That's what's going on here on the Maryland side.
So
Especially in Charles County.
Usually, notice how I say usually. Usually, the resale homes are slightly less expensive, number one. And almost always they're more readily available, meaning if you write a contract today, you can be moved in 30 days. Whereas if you're doing new construction, it's typically a 6 to 8 month delivery time at least. Right? Now, there are benefits with new construction. You get to pick all the finishes, yada, 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 right? But then there's downsides too. You're probably going to pay a little more for it. You got the wait time. So it's just selling the benefits, right? That's what I would do. And it's also like if you're taking the listing, it's having the conversation with the seller, like, look, yeah, the new homes down the street or across the street or in the development across the street, yeah, they're starting at 800. That's not what these are going for here. Right now, maybe it is. It depends on what the comps say, right? But it's typically, usually, they're a little less than new construction. So you want to sell those benefits.
Okay, thank you.
All right. I believe Lori was next. Lori, I saw your hand next, I believe.
Yep. I'm actually I just got done with an open house. I have new construction. I'm doing them every day before it closes. We don't get a model home with this builder, so I have to utilize the houses that are already purchased. I was a bit confused about your latest offer.
You got choppy there for a second.
And what's that?
You got choppy for a second. I heard you say you were a bit confused, and then you got real choppy.
Oh, okay, darn it. Technology. The MOFR. The one about cash offer. And am I to understand, you put that up at your open house, and what does that QR code lead to? I wish you had a visual, because that's a great idea. So I have to ask those
So,
questions.
all right, you guys want a visual? All right. Bear with me. Let me figure this out.
Awesome.
Who has the Canva glow up? Did you guys get the Canva glow up? Do you have any idea what I'm talking about?
Glow up? No, Canva,
The
yeah.
glow up. So apparently Canva did some new stuff where they had this glow up where there's like this new release or whatever. But I'll show you exactly what my door knocking flyer looks like. Let me go back to Zoom, share screen, go over here. So I'm in Canva now. All right, so look, here we go. Door knocking flyer. This is the front of it. This is the open house that I did. That was my listing. Here's a flyer for my webinar I have coming up. But then this is on the back of my so on this one, I replaced the cash offer for a free home valuation. So essentially, it just said, need to sell quick, scan here to request a cash offer on your home. That QR code would take them to a JOT form where they just basically fill out their contact information and their address. Then I get notified. Then I go and look up to see what their property is worth. And my cash offer for their home is going to be at a discount for their
JOT
property.
form.
JOT form, JOTFORM. There is a subscription there, but you get 5 active forms at any given time for free. And that's the version I use. I don't pay for it. I don't need more than 5 forms at once. So listen, 99% of people that ask for a cash offer are not going to be interested in your cash offer because they're not in a distressed situation. They're going to be traditional listing leads. All the cash offer is a conversation starter. It's just a conversation starter. You might you're going to go and pull the information and see what an offer would look like. And you're going to have a conversation with them. So tell me about your situation. What's causing you to request a cash offer? And then they're going to get into why they're thinking about selling and all that stuff. And you're probably going to quickly realize that your cash offer is not going to be the deal for them, that it's going to be more of a traditional type of listing. So don't let the whole cash offer thing get in your way of doing it, because 99 times out of 100, they're not going to want the cash offer. They're going to want a traditional listing. Now, in that 1 time out of 100, they do want the cash offer. That's an opportunity for you to flip the property. And if you don't know how to do that, call me. We'll figure it out.
Can I also ask you another question related to all of that real quick? Yesterday or Sunday, I gave an open house and I completely lost a buyer that wanted at least an $800,000, not have an agent. So I was hoping that at this class, one of the things that would be covered, and I'm surprised you just do forms. In other words, they don't check. They could put in false information. In other words, it's a form, right? Okay.
It's just a sign-in
like
sheet.
a Google
And people,
form?
I just use a printout again, like here on Canva. I have a design where it's just they write their information in. People can put in false information on a Google form or a JOT form, right? There's nothing confirming that that's accurate.
Right, and that's why I was wondering why you don't approve of using the open house apps that.
Oh, hold on. I don't say I don't approve. I just
Okay.
don't prefer them. It's a personal preference.
Then how do you get phone numbers?
I have it on the form.
And if they don't give it, would you ask them for it? It's sort of the language I'm looking for.
Okay, so what we're saying, all right, write this down. You exchange the value is the currency you pay for contact information.
Huh.
Value is the currency you pay for contact information. So at my most recent open house, I noticed one of the women didn't put her phone number in. I'm sorry, she didn't put her email address in. She put her phone number, but didn't put her email address in. So in conversation, I found out what they were looking for. And I said, I can't say for sure, but I might have something off market that matches what you're looking for. Did you put your email on the form? And she said, no. I said, put your email in there and I'll send you a list of the off market properties we have. Okay. I knew that I didn't have anything off market to offer her that matched what she was looking for. I knew that. Now I had off market listings I could send her, but I knew none of it matched what she was looking for. But that doesn't mean next Thursday I won't have something that matches what she's looking for. Right? So now I have its value. It's value. So
Okay.
So that's what, just pay attention. Don't be afraid to ask, be assertive in asking, but have value to offer.
Okay, that's great idea. Thank you so much.
And you know what the off-market properties are, right? Does everybody know what off-market properties are?
Everything that's not for sale.
Okay, so in your office right now, there's agents that probably have listing agreements with clients that don't want to market their property on the MLS. It's becoming more and more common. I can't make sense of it, but it is becoming more and more common where agents or sellers want to sell off market. So there's certain rules and regulations in your jurisdiction. There's certain rules and regulations on how these properties can be promoted. In Maryland, we can only promote them internally to the agents in our brokerage, right? So that's one way. Another way is expired listings. So you might go and look at expired listings from the last 3, 4, 5, 2 years to see if anything matches what this person's looking for, make sure it didn't sell yet, and then see if those people are interested in selling. You might have a buyer that's interested. It could be an opportunity to find business, those off-market listings. We good? I see some other hands. Kevin, I see your hand again.
Yeah, just real quick, I was going to say about the difference between a new build and a pre-existing home is that sometimes there's less work buying a home that's already established, landscaping, fencing, decks, and all that kind of stuff. So that might be a selling point to the person.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Chris, I see your hand.
Yeah, I put that up a little while ago. So I hope I'm not getting too backtracking too much. But in my area, there's condos and townhomes being built like in crazy numbers. Are there ways to get open houses in those?
I'm sorry, say it again.
There are condos and townhomes being built at very high rates in the area outside of Richmond that I'm in. Can you do an open house for a builder if it's not with your brokerage? I guess
I would say I would encourage you to ask your broker.
Okay.
Ask your broker on specific strategies for that. Yep. Okay. There's some questions in the chat. Candace, I think that Mofer was if they had a home that they needed to sell quick. No, sorry. Can I see that again? What do you mean there, Candace?
I meant that flyer that you had made that had the QR codes on it. That was really cool. And I just barely saw it. I had turned my head and it was really
I'm
nice.
sorry. Thank you. You know what? I'll make a note here to send that to Alana, and I'm fine sharing that with everybody. I'll send it to Alana and then I'll make sure she has that. Okay, so a couple questions. When you send the off-market list, do you send the full address to the lead? First, I would contact, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to those sellers to see if they're interested, right? If it's an old expired, but if it's like a brokerage exclusive listing, yeah, I'm going to send the the full address to the lead. I'm going to send any information I have to the lead. We find market stats somewhere on the MLS as well as neighborhood stats. Yes, so basically you're going to pull stats for the neighborhood by doing like a polygon search on the map. If you're in Bright MLS, there's also, it's called, oh geez, I'm drawing a blank. RBI market stats. So the smart charts, like if you go up to the search and search market, and there'll be a drop down. I think it says RBI market stats or smart charts or something like that. That's where you can find county data for free. Have some hands. Ebony, I see your hand.
Yes, thank you for answering. And on your flyer, you said that before you asked for a cash offer, you were asking for something else. You said something like you want to know what your value is worth, if that's what it was, your home value.
No, so it's a totally different offer. So that flyer doesn't actually have the cash offer wording on it. That flyer actually has I changed it for something else I'm doing. That flyer has the wording that it's where I'm offering a home valuation.
Okay, what was the wording that you did before you changed it?
So for the cash offer, what's the wording?
No, what you said, I got the cash offer, but the other one, you said you just want to know your what your house,
so
what your house is worth.
So I would put some, like if I'm door knocking an area in Frederick County, which is one of the primary areas I serve, I'm going to dangle a carrot. I'm going to share something enticing. That's the carrot. And the carrot is home values are up 49% since 2019 on average in Frederick County. What does this mean for you? Scan here to get a free home valuation to see what your house is worth. Something along those lines.
Okay, and that's when the jot forms come in, when you scan it.
They'll scan that QR code. It'll take them to a jot form. They put in their information. I'm notified. I'll do a quick CMA, a quick market analysis, and then I'm going to reach out to them and start asking them questions about their situation.
Okay, now does the jot form provide that little scan code?
No, but you get that. Actually, yes, jot form does. Jot form does provide that.
Okay, great. Thank you. That was great.
But here's a quick tip. If you use Google Chrome, any website you're on, you can right click and hit create QR code. It's that simple.
Oh, wow. Okay, I didn't know that.
You can send a QR code to any website you want. That easy. Jot form, yes. That's Candace. That's
Josh,
exactly how you spell it.
Can I piggyback on this? On that home valuation, we have like the KW consumer app. Can we use that as a baseline and hey, use that link, put your address, and give you a price, maybe deduct 20%. Hey, this is my cash offer if you want, so I can maybe flip it or maybe less.
Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. Was that your question, Daryl?
Yes, and if you don't mind sending the form that you use, kind of like a template, and then kind of just copy it. Maybe I can fish out some clients that I can sell their house or buy their house for cheap.
What do you mean?
Like the template of the one that you use to kind of do an open house or for that home valuation.
Okay. Yep. Perfect. No problem.
Hey, Josh, can I say something?
Yes, please.
If they're using Command has a lot of templates in there that you can also utilize. You can create flyers, you can create videos, you can create QR codes and all of that stuff. So maybe if they are not utilizing Canva, because sometimes people pay for professional Canva, they can utilize Command.
Absolutely, great point. And Designs has gotten much better in Command. So thank you for sharing that. All right, I see Taryn's hand, and then we got to get back to the content because we got a lot of ground to cover still. Taryn?
I just wanted to say that on Command, you could create a landing page. So if you go on Canva and you create a QR code and a flyer and they scan it, it can take them right to your KW website landing page and they can fill out that information that you're requesting.
There you go. So You can use, yep, perfect. Love that. All right. Let me figure out where we're at in the content. Thank you for that, Taryn. Okay. All right, we've talked about preparing. We've talked about the prospecting. We've talked about the social media posts that you can do for the open houses. Can I share a huge mistake I think agents make with open houses? Like probably like the number one mistake outside of not doing the work on the front end to properly promote and use the prospecting. Like the biggest mistake I see agents make. Are you ready for this? A, they don't follow up with the attendees at all. Or B, they wait too long to follow up with the attendees. So I'm curious, when do you think you should follow up with the open house attendees?
Immediately after the open house is done.
Bingo, you nailed it. Immediately after the open house.
I was gonna.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say the same thing.
Yes, immediately. So it's like what I like to do as I'm closing up the open house, I'm recording a generic video of me walking through, flipping off lights. Hey, this is Josh Gossard with Keller Williams. Thank you so much for stopping by the open house at 123 Main Street today. I'm going to be giving you a call shortly to collect some more feedback for the seller. I'll be in touch soon. I'm sending that before I leave the property to everyone that signed in. They're getting that video. I'm gonna make the video less than 30 seconds because for some reason my iPhone will not send to Android users if it's longer than 30 seconds. So I want to send the video. I want to keep the video less than 30 seconds. I want to send that video. I want them to see my face and remember me. Then when I call them, I'm going to say, hey, it's Josh again. Thanks so much for stopping by the open house. I got your feedback while you were there. I'm curious, did you have any other thoughts on the property that you'd like to share with me? And then they're going to get into that. And then I'm going to go even deeper in on their motivation, their timeline. And my whole objective from that conversation is to set a buyer consultation appointment. That's what I'm trying to do. Okay. Immediately after the open house. So I'm sending that text before I drive away. When I get to my destination, I'm making those calls. So I'm either going back to the office or I'm going to come back to the house. I'm going to schedule like slot 20, 30 minutes to get through those calls and follow up. They're going to my database. They're going to my drip plans, all that good stuff. We wait too long. If you're doing an open house on Saturday and you're following up with those leads Monday morning, they forgot who you are. Hell, they forgot what I went to an open house on Saturday. Geez, I forgot all about that. Right? They forget. All right. Can I ask a big favor of everyone? Huge favor.
Yes.
Would you all be so kind to complete an evaluation for me? You can scan this QR code or go to kwueval.com. kwueval.com to complete the evaluation. This is a virtual event. My name is Josh Gossard. This is Ignite Session 7. It will probably ask for your region. You can put Maryland, DC, unless you know your region, put Maryland, DC region. All right, I'm going to drop this down and stop the share because we're closing up open houses and moving on to social media.
Hey, excuse me, can I please see the code again? I had to go and grab my phone. Thank you.
For the eval?
Yes, please.
Sure. Give me just a second. All right, there you go. This doesn't have the information because it's on a different slide. I wasn't going to ask for it twice, but the event is virtual. My name is Josh Gossard. You'll see it in the scroll down. This is actually Ignite Session 7. The region is Maryland, DC. Unless you know your region, you can use your region.
Gotcha. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. All right, let's jump into this. We're going to talk about social media. There's a couple of people I'm going to suggest that you follow. Are you guys following Justin Himmelbaum on social media? Justin Himmelbaum. Let me make sure I get his name correctly. He does a really good job on social media. I'll type his Instagram handle in the chat. It's HIMMELLSELLSHOMES. So Himmel Sells Homes. I would suggest everyone. Oh, sorry. That's a direct message to Angela. Due to everyone. So HIMEL. Himmel Sells Homes. Himmel Sells Homes. I would suggest following him. And here's this other guy you should follow. The Josh G. That's me. You should follow him too. Both these guys are pretty good. All right. But seriously, all jokes aside, Justin Himmelbaum, he's really good. I've attended some of his trainings. He's really good. And one of the things that he shared, actually, he asked the question. And instead of just telling you what he shared, I'll ask the same question. I want anyone here to raise your hand if you've ever made a social media post and immediately thought to yourself, man, I hope no one comments on this. Have you ever done that? Have you ever in the history of your social media made a post and said, I hope no one comments? Really? You guys make posts and don't want people to comment? Wow. Okay. Interesting. So there were 4 hands went up. I won't say who, but if you're watching, you saw the hands. 4 hands went up. So Justin asked this question and he says, look, every time we've taken the social out of social media. He said, as you're scrolling through, every post you scroll past is an invitation for you to start a conversation. I'm like, wow, that's so genius. It's so brilliant. It's like, when you're sitting down in your lead generation time to make calls or to make text messages, oftentimes you'll feel like you're bothering people because it's an uninvited conversation. Well, on social media, every post you scroll past is an invitation for you to engage. People want to engage. When you open up your phone, even Kevin, I'm going to pick on Kevin because he's been playing along so well this evening. Kevin was one of the 4 that raised his hand and said he's made posts that he doesn't want people to comment on. But even on those posts, Kevin, when you open the Facebook or the Instagram app and you get that little red notification, guess what happens? Chemically, your brain releases dopamine. Your brain releases dopamine. It's a pleasure hormone or chemical or something. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. It's something. It's good. It's something we crave, right? So Justin says, be their dopamine dealer of choice. And I thought it was absolutely brilliant. He said, too many people on social media get too caught up on creating fancy content when really the key is engagement. Engage with other people, comment on other people's stuff. So before we start getting into this content on social media, I just wanted to share that. You don't have to be an expert content creator to have a strong engagement on social media. Just comment on other people's stuff. Go and share uplifting things. Now, don't be a jerk. That doesn't work. But go and be uplifting, be encouraging. All right, let's get back to it. We're going to talk about the 10-5-1 engagement system. Let me get back to sharing the slides. Finn says, I've grown my following from 2K to 6K in 6 months, engaging others' posts. Wow. So you might want to go follow Finn. She has more followers than me. Maybe you want to go follow her. Candace says she engages on her personal page. I'm lucky if I get a few engaging posts on your business page. Okay. Your Facebook business page has two purposes. There's only two purposes of your Facebook business page. Number one, to collect reviews. Number two, to run paid ads. Everything else should be done on your personal page. Those of you who want to keep your personal and your business separate, I'm sorry, that doesn't exist in social media land. People want to see you. People want to know who you are. They want to interact. Like, think of it like your favorite TV series back before Netflix. So all you youngins out there, sorry. Think of social media like your favorite TV series before Netflix. Let's say the show was an hour long. Well, really, it's about 45 minutes of the show is the show, where 15 minutes are commercials. So it's a 3-to-1 ratio. So on your personal Facebook page, for every 3 personal posts, you can post 1 business post. It's the same thing. People tune in to see your life, who you are as a person, what you're up to, what you're doing. That's the program that they're tuning in to watch. You're going to drip your social, geez, getting late. You're going to drip your real estate stuff in as the commercial. That's the business you're promoting. That's your commercial. Okay. Can you turn a personal page into business? Yes, on IG. Yes, that's correct. On Facebook, you cannot. It's a totally different thing. All right, let's get back to the content. Okay, the 10-5-1 engagement strategy system. So how many posts do you like per day? Like, this is where we're talking about engagement here. How many posts do you actually go on and like? Are you intentional with it? Go on and like the post. So they're saying to like 10 posts a day. 5 comments a day. So you're going to go in and find 5 posts from other people's posts that you're going to comment. 5 of them. Okay. I like the 5x5 rule here. We're going to use 5. You're going to go leave 5 comments, and they have to at least be 5 words. And it is really powerful when one of those words are the person's name. You make it more personal. And then 1 direct message, or 1 share, or 1 original post. And if you want to be a superstar on social media, I would suggest doing all 3 of those: 1 share, 1 direct message, 1 original post. And here's a little hack. Can I share a hack with you? If you want to increase engagement on your posts, do those direct messages just before you do your post. So go on and do direct messages with 5 people, then go do your original post, and that will help increase engagement. Another quick tip: don't cherry pick the same 5 people every day. That's counterproductive. You can't go in and send your mom a direct message every day on social media and count that. That doesn't count. It has to be new people. Candace says when she's on her personal page, she searched for her business page and shares posts from there onto your page. All right, I'm so glad you shared that, Candace. I love you. Stop doing that. Where are you? I don't see you here. Candace, can you raise your hand for a second, please? I'm not going to be too hard on you, I promise. Oh, there you are, Candace. Okay, Candace, So how does social media make money? I'm sorry, how does Facebook make money?
I haven't figured that one out yet.
Okay, Facebook makes money by charging you your business page to put your ad in front of people. That's how
No, I know
Facebook.
how I know how Facebook makes it. I don't know how they haven't make money for me yet. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay, so if Facebook knows what you're doing by going and sharing your posts from your business page, they know you're trying to get that in front of people. Facebook is intentionally restricting the amount of people that are seeing that because they want you to spend money to promote that content on your business page. You would be better off making the same exact post as an original post from your personal page.
I have boosted many times over the last 2 years with 0 results. And I've heard other people too say that that's a big waste of time. So I need to learn more about Facebook ads, I believe.
Boosting is is pretty much a waste of money. There's a guy in KW, his name is Tyler Shields. Tyler Shields. He's kicking butt with Facebook ads. This is what I'll tell you with Facebook ads. It's a long game. Those people are 12 to 18 months out at least if you're running ads. What we're talking about tonight is organic posts, creating your following. I want you guys to think of, I keep saying guys, I apologize if that offends anyone. I don't mean it to be offensive. Friends, I want you to think of your Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, wherever you're at on social media. I want you all to think of this as an extension of your database. It's a separate database. That's all it is. So anybody that's on your social media, that's part of your database. So anything you're posting and creating is getting in front of a certain amount of people. The more people you engage with, the more people it's going to show it to. So Candace, the reason I said stop doing this, because here's a little peek on how the algorithm works. Facebook will decide, but Instagram works the same way. They decide how many people your stuff gets shown to by how many people interact with it, right? So if you're sharing a lot of posts from your business page and Facebook is intentionally restricting your exposure, you're not going to get much interaction with that. So then the algorithm says people don't interact with Candace's posts. So we're not going to show Candace's posts to as many people. So you have to think of how can I get people to interact with this stuff? Okay. Is that helpful for everyone? Ben asked who does the social media. I'm going to type it in here. Tyler Shields. I'm pretty sure it's I before E. This might be one of those situations before it's E, where it's E before I. I'm not sure, but one of those spellings will get you him. He's also featured. You guys know what the MREA playbook is? He's featured in there as for running paid ads on social media. He's good. If you reach out to him, he'll help you. There's also a Facebook group where people are in there talking about running their paid ads. But guys, there I go again. Friends, I want you to keep in mind it's a long game. You're going to spend hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars before you start to convert these leads. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying there's a lot more work into Facebook leads than what you might be thinking. Okay. All right, let's get back to the content. Any aha so far? Anything good that you've heard? Candace, I didn't mean to pick on you, but I know many of us are doing it. I've done it before until I learned that I was actually doing myself more harm than good. Then that's when I stopped. So thank you for falling on that sword, so to speak.
Josh, did you say that she would be better off posting from her personal to her business? Or no?
No, what I was saying, instead of sharing the business post, instead of taking the post from the business page and sharing that, you'd be better off just making the same exact post as an original post from your personal page.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yep. Yep. And you're not alone in that, Candace. I'm sure you know that though. Any other ahas? I heard the 10-5-1 is good. Saw that in the chat.
Yeah, Candace is definitely not alone with that because that was an aha moment. I recognize that a lot because just trying to drive traffic to my business page from my personal page, and oftentimes when I like share what I post on my business page, I realize that the engagement is lower on that particular post compared to if I'm just making a regular post.
Yep.
So it
Because
definitely clicked when you said that.
Yep. Facebook's like, nope, we ain't doing that. We ain't playing that game. This is how we pay our bills around here. Right. Like that's how Facebook is looking at that. All right. I said the 75-25 principle as far as like 75% personal, 25% business. The content actually says it's 80% personal, 20% business, which I would probably venture that that's probably more accurate, the 80-20 rule, right? So as far as the 80%, what do we want to post for that? Before we start just randomly throwing things out, I want you to think of posts that you make that get the most engagement and then share some of those ideas with me. Like, what are some of the things that you post about that get the most engagement? Most comments, most likes.
Are you talking about like on your personal things?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, people want to know what's going on in your life. So whether it's like you going out or, you know, people love to see people eating nowadays. So that's random things, meetings, like even if you're just going to the office, having a regular day, content on what you're doing, stuff like that, get engagement.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that, Tanisha. Michael says his dog. Yes, people love pets on social media. So much so, some pets have their own social media page. It's crazy. It's a real thing. There you go. Michael, make your dog, recruit your dog to your real estate team and turn your dog into a realtor. And I'm sure you'll blow it up with that. Jenny says having a baby. Yes, I don't know how frequently you can actually have a baby to increase your social media engagement. However, I'm sure you can keep posting that baby and that will get a lot of engagement. I have a 4-year-old grandson. I know, hard to believe. I have a 4-year-old grandson and I spend a lot of time with that guy. So I'm always posting him, sharing him, doing his shenanigans. Anything that involves him has a lot of engagement. People comment and like and share that stuff. Stuff that makes people laugh. Yes. Family pics, events, animals, by far get more engagement. Yes, absolutely. Accomplishments. Yes. People want to cheer you on. Family vacation, relationships, milestones, big events, funny videos, cool places you're visiting. That's great. That gets lots of stuff. Most motivational things. Yeah, all of that personal stuff that has absolutely nothing to do with business, right? Like all of that stuff gets the more engaging stuff. Do you know why?
People want to relate.
It's more relatable. Absolutely, Alex. It's more relatable. Only a handful, a small segment of people will buy or sell a home this year. So it's just not relatable to them where they're at in their life, right? So by default, it's not going to get as much engagement. By default, it's just not something that they use or they're going to need as often as they relate to the other stuff that you're sharing. But when you get more engagement on those posts, more people see that you're sharing it. More people see those real estate posts that you share. Working out, people like that stuff. I've been on this fitness kick for a little over a year now. People love when I share that stuff. Live music, team sports, They like all of that stuff. Is there anything we missed that you think gets a lot of engagement?
Providing resources and answers to people.
Yeah, absolutely. Providing resources. Like what? Give me an example of a resource you would share.
Like let's say you're a first time home buyer and you don't know how to go about it. You can do a video and share with them some tips on what you can do to basically help you start the process of becoming a home buyer. So that is value added to people that can help them.
Events like 4th of July.
Sorry, somebody is speaking. But yes, so those are the
Yep.
type of resources, yeah.
Anytime I run into a service provider, I like jump at the opportunity to share them. Like I recently had to put my lawnmower in the shop. There's a guy that has bandit signs around our area for lawnmower services. I called him. He was fantastic. I've been sharing him as much as I can. We've had a great experience at the jiu-jitsu gym with my grandson, so I've been promoting the heck out of that gym. I'm also aligning myself with the gym owner to be an advocate of his business because I know he talks to a lot of parents and parents buy and sell homes. So I am also like, I'm not doing it just for that reason, but he's awesome. And I know that it's going to come back around for me. Michael shared something in the chat that I want to address. 3 of us thought it was funny. He says, controversial thoughts. People love drama. I would be careful there. I'm going to be careful because I don't want to offend someone so much so where they won't want to use me. And there's two thought processes here. And this also goes for politics. It goes for any controversial topic. The 2 thought processes here are A, leave it alone. Don't do anything at all. Don't go near it. Don't touch it. Don't speak about it. Don't share your opinion on somebody else's post. Don't go there. Or B, go all in. Go all in. If Trump is your guy, fly the flag high and own it and go all in. Because what's going to happen if you walk that line, and I just used Trump because that seems to be one of the most controversial things. If you walk that line, you're not going to go so far to one side where people automatically agree with you and come to you. You're just going to kind of piss everybody off, right? So I like the idea of not going near it because I want to work with everyone unless you're a jerk. And if you're a jerk, I'll figure that out later. But I want to work with everyone unless you're a jerk. I don't want someone to not work with me just because of my opinion on a controversial topic. It's one of the beauties of living in America. We get to have different opinions about controversial topics, but that's just my 2 cents there. So A, leave it alone, or B, go all in, own it. Kevin, I see your hand.
Yeah, so one of the and so I got a lot of posts. I do a lot of things. I'm a veteran, so anything to do with veteran service organizations, firefighters, police, stuff like that, community oriented stuff as well.
Yep. Love that. Sell lifestyle, take pics in every restaurant we go into. Yes, absolutely. Awesome. All right, let's get back to the content. So we're talking about the personal stuff. My F and F know that I am a person of faith. F and F, what's that?
Friends and family.
Oh, okay, yes, of course. Duh. All right, it's getting late. The 20%. Okay, so this is our real estate related, business related stuff. So what are some things we should be sharing here? Some ideas of content we should be sharing with that. We've already talked about one of, yes, I was going to say, we already talked about one of them tonight, open houses. What else?
The home buying process. You can talk about,
Yes.
you can even speak about like, you know, how it looks to actually once you buy a home, like create like a vision for them, like what it looks like when you're in your home, like for instance, buying furniture, fixing the roof, or whatever it is, like just creating a vision so they can get excited about buying homes.
Yes, absolutely. end contract sold, offer made. Yep, all of that stuff. Speaking events, awards. It could be all kinds of stuff, guys. Everything. Have you guys ever seen the TikTok or the Instagram? I'm going to make a fool of myself here, but it's like everything is content. Everything is content. Have you guys ever seen that one? Like literally everything we do is content. You're showing a house. Okay. Just take a quick video of a feature in the house. There's that. You're walking into your office. If there's signage there, you can just record yourself walking in, not even yourself, just record the signage as you're walking in. Another great day in the office. Can't wait to talk to buyers and sellers today. Like you're just reminding people that you're in business, that you're selling real estate. And here's the thing. If you post one video tour a week, of a property you're out touring, and that's the only business post you post, I guarantee you when you run into people that haven't seen you in a while, they're going to say to you, oh my God, you're killing it in real estate. You're always showing homes. And maybe you've never sold a single home yet, but it's perception, and perception is important. It's very important. Flyers from my lender about loan products. Yes. Vendors in the area. Like you said, yes, absolutely. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that name, but someone speaks 3 languages. So in Illinois, it's a huge community who speak my language. Yes, I believe it's Nazgul. Nazgul said that. I apologize if I'm getting that wrong. I'm so sorry. But yeah, if you speak 3 languages, I would encourage you to do videos in those languages. Here in my market, there's a strong, a large Spanish speaking community, and I don't see any realtors making content speaking Spanish. I think it's a huge missed opportunity. You talk about immediately establishing rapport. As soon as you start to hear that other language, it's going to immediately catch your attention. Immediately, you'll be in rapport with that person. I think it's a huge missed opportunity. Anything else? All right, I'm going to share a quick tip that might disappoint some of you. You have to. It's a must. You have to start doing video. It's a requirement. If you're not doing video, it's going to be very hard for you to compete in the next 3 to 5 years. It's that important. People need to see you. People need to hear you. People need to be familiar with you before you show up. And video on social media is the way you do it. Our society is putting so much emphasis on social media presence. It's unfortunate, but it's the reality. You have to start doing video. So can I give you a quick formula for video? So you're going to start with a hook. Number 1, start with a hook. Number 2, it's going to be your introduction. You're always going to introduce yourself in your videos. It's not the first thing, it's the second thing. So hook, introduction, support from your, so you're going to support the hook next. The number 3 is support for the hook. Number 4 will be experience or testimonial. And number 5 will be your call to action. Call me for, comment below for, DM me for, right? So you're going to open with your hook. You're going to have your intro. You're going to support the hook. You're going to share experience or testimonial. Number 5 is your call to action and your videos. Now, those of you who don't like to share your face on video, you're in luck. You don't have to share your face. Finn, I see you laughing. I'm guessing I'm talking to you. You should share your face. You have a pretty face. Share your face. Especially now that you've changed your lighting. Share your face. Here's the thing. People know what you look like. So if you think you look bad in video, I guess you think you look bad in person. We know what you look like. If you hate your voice in video, just know that's your voice. We hear that voice in person too. Get over it. Can I tell you what I do? I record the video, one take, full send. I don't play it back. I don't pick it apart because I know I'll pick it apart for 2 weeks and then I won't post the damn thing at all. I just record it. Whatever I said is good enough. Send it out. Full send. And it gets out. It just goes. Ebony says, are we allowed to show video on the inside of other listings? I was told by a team lead I could not unless it was our own listing. Consult with your broker. Ask your broker about that. Tanisha says she started using that strategy and it helps. What strategy is that?
Not second guessing your videos.
Yeah. Just send it.
Just send it. And it actually helps because sometimes people just like just seeing the real you. So whether you mess up, even if you mess up, you could, and they like seeing it. Like they like seeing it. So and it helps. You don't second guess yourself and you get to just put the content out there and not worry about not putting it out there. The fear of the unknown.
Absolutely. Michael says you got to mix your good looking days with the bad looking days to be more authentic. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Candace says, do you use one of those long cell phone holders? Yes, my right arm. That's the long cell phone holder I use, my right arm. But no, seriously, like most of my videos are in the car when I'm driving. I know, don't kill me, but it's while I'm driving. And I do it fast because I know I'm under pressure. If I sit there in my office or here at the house, I'm going to play with the lighting and play with this and play with that. I get them done and I get them out in the car. I use CapCut. I do pay for CapCut. It's like $80 for the year. I think that's worth it. CapCut, the AI in CapCut will remove spaces and your filler words. They'll do that automatically. They'll add the captions. I think it's worth it if you're going to do video. I encourage you to do video. If you don't feel comfortable with your face being on camera, it is okay to do voiceovers, but let it be your voice. But you're missing opportunity by not showing your face. I promise. No matter how crazy you think you look. All right. Ahas, what are you hearing so far that you're like, wow, this is really good? What's been helpful so far?
The 4 C's.
4 C's?
Or when you are writing posts on social media.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. What else?
Formula for videos. Start with a
Yes.
hook, introduction, support for the hook, experience, and testimonial.
I want you to, the hook is important. The hook is very, very, very important. I want you to pay attention when you're scrolling, when we're done here and you're scrolling on Instagram or TikTok and you're just going past and going past and going past and then something catches you. I want you to pay attention to what caught you. Why did you stop and watch that video? Pay attention to those, not so much for the entertainment value, but for the R&D value. You know what R&D is, right? Rip off and duplicate, right? What caused you to stop? That's what we got to do. We got to stop the scroll. Okay, Candace asked for a hook example in real estate. All right, I just attended a Jeff Glover event the other day, so he gave a great one. I'm just going to use his. Yes, I am sharing his stuff. Yes, I am giving him credit for it. So Jeff had us write a script for a video while we were there, and it went something like this. I bet you thought right now was a horrible time to buy a house. I mean, who would want to buy a house right now? Hook. I'm Josh Gossard with Keller Williams Realty Center. Intro. Okay. Is that helpful? One I used the other day was, I'm promoting a webinar right now, how to buy a home and sell a home without ending up homeless. My hook was, I don't want to be homeless. That was my hook. Have any of you ever talked to a potential seller and that was one of the things they said to you? I don't want to be homeless. I don't want to end up homeless. Michael says this shit is available now. He likes to push the envelope. I can tell.
Josh, I just want to comment on that. And that's what I was talking about earlier in terms of the controversy. But this guy that I follow on Instagram, that's his opening when doing open houses. And this guy has like 160,000 followers. And actually I'm seeing businesses reaching out to him so that he does similar type of openings. Even Buc-ee's, I don't know if you're familiar with Buc-ee's, but so that's what I was mentioning earlier in terms of kind of being controversial, but not really. But it works for him. He's funny. He does the editing and cutting, and it's amazing for him.
But I bet you he's like that. Like, right? Like that's the thing. Like that's who he is. Like if that's who you are, own it, right? But you can't, if that's not who you are, don't try to pretend to be that way. Right? Like you got to really be that way. There's another
100%.
guy you should check out. His name, I think, is Justin Mercer, but his Instagram is Call Tattoo. This guy has tattoos literally head to toe all over his face. He's one of the top realtors in Arizona. Like it's unreal. Call Tattoo. He's another guy like that. He sounds very similar to that. Controversial stuff. On Easter, he put like, who would Jesus call to sell his house? Like that was one of the posts he put like on social media. Yep. Thank you. I think it's Cheryl. Thank you for answering that question. Call Tattoo. Or are you asking Michael what his name is? Michael, I think they're asking you what his name is Call Tattoo. If you go to Google, or I'm sorry, if you go to Instagram and just look up Call Tattoo, you'll find him. All right. Let's bring this home. So, couple of things. Don't post and ghost. Do you know what posting and ghosting is? Pretty self-explanatory. When you first make the post, what happens is the social media platform is going to test your post with a small group of people. Okay. So they're going to test it with a small group of people to see watch time. They're going to see engagement. So if they test it with a small group of people and someone comments right away, then they're like, okay, this is good. But then if you don't go and comment, you don't engage, you don't keep the engagement going. You got a small window when you first post to keep the engagement going. So when you post, make sure you're able to stick around for a while and reply to anybody that comments on your stuff as quickly as possible. Right? Don't post and ghost. Add value. Of course, you always want to add value. Some of the stuff that we can post about, one of the things that I heard recently, it was really good. It was one of those things like, wow, I can't believe I didn't think about that, is post about events. People like events. Here's the thing. It doesn't have to be your event. It could be any community event. It could be anything going on in your area that you're going to post about. Like we have, I mentioned I was on my health and fitness journey. In our area, we have Blessings in a Backpack. Do you guys have Blessings in a Backpack? You know what that is? You ever heard of that? I don't know if they're national or not. Basically, there's a lot of kids who their only meals are their free lunches at school. I didn't know this was a thing. Like I'm privileged in that way. There's a lot of kids who only get to eat when they're at school. So Blessings in a Backpack sends food home with the kids who are on free lunches. So this organization is doing an 8K race on June 15th, the day before Father's Day. I'm going to start posting about that. It's in line with my health and fitness. It shows that I'm active in the community and it's supporting a local charity. I get to piggyback on their following, and I'm also helping drive attention to that. So that's a good post. I'll probably do a post while I'm there. I'm going to run it with my daughter. I'll probably do a post, a video, a story, all that while I'm there, wearing my t-shirt, all that good stuff. Like that's just good content that you can share. There's a couple of things people are looking for on social media. They want to see A, that you're a good person. They want to see B, that you enjoy life, and C, that you work hard. So if you are using social media as an outlet to whine and moan, you probably want to stop doing that. That's not what people want to see. Another thing that I would encourage you to do is start like on the people who engage with you most. Go look at the people who engage with you most and see who they're following or see who's following them. And maybe follow some of those people and they'll follow you back. So that's one way to do it on Instagram. On Facebook, you could do it with like mutual friends. On the people you may know, for a long time, I just would scroll right past that. Like, I'm not worried about looking at that. But now I'm looking at that. Like, who is it? Who are these people? If they're realtors, I'm not adding them. No offense, guys. I already have enough realtor friends. I already follow enough realtors. You guys ain't buying and selling houses for me. Now, if they're outside of my area, I'm going to follow them because I could generate referral business. But I'm not going to follow every realtor in my local board. I'm just not doing that. The people who are really killing it, I'll probably follow them because I want to see what they're doing, see what they're up to. But the other people, I'm not just adding a ton of realtors just to have a bunch of realtors on my friends list.
Josh, can you repeat?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you please repeat what you said about people want to see the 3 things?
Yes, they want to see that you are a good person.
Mhm.
They want to see that you're enjoying life. So optimistic,
Mhm.
upbeat, outgoing. And they want to see that you work hard.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. We covered a lot of ground this evening. You guys were great. I'm sorry. Friends, you were great. I'm working on that. I really am. I promise. Friends, you were great. I really appreciate the engagement tonight. A lot of you were off camera. A lot of you participated in the chat, engaged, commented. Thank you so much for that. What I want to hear a couple of things, like what's like your number one takeaway from this evening? Okay, let video outline.
Never mind. I was gonna
Go
say
ahead.
just creating a good hook just to get people's attention.
Yes. Have you thought of one yet?
No, I haven't, but I'm definitely gonna, after this call, think of some good ones to put into some videos.
Yep. Love that.
But the video, and then my wife's listening in as well, and she says the following of the followers to increase the following on Instagram.
Yep. Pick the ones who are most engaging with your stuff. Like start there, right?
Don't
Do
forget
open houses.
Open
Go ahead.
houses. Open houses. Once a member, once attendees depart the property, as you're closing up the house, make a video and send it out immediately to all members that walk through.
Yes. I see in the chat the MOFR, video outline, do open houses and create video content. Here's the thing. I just want to touch on this again with the video content. If you haven't done video before, you're probably not going to be good at it. That's just the reality. I'm sorry. It's just the way it is. It's just like when you were a little baby and you first started trying to walk, you weren't very good at it. It's very few people are just natural at video. It's weird. When you first start talking to the camera, it's weird. The only way you get better is by sucking at first. It's the only way. It's the price to pay to get good at it. You have to suck for a little while to get good. That's just how it is. Just do it and it'll be all right. It'll be okay. And here's the thing, the people who, in the beginning, the majority of the people who are going to see your stuff already know you. So it's okay.
Long game for Facebook ads. I thought that was good because it manages the expectations. So don't think that because you're going to pay up front, you might not get a return right away.
And that's exactly why I shared that. I didn't share that to discourage anyone. I just wanted to make sure you had the right expectation going in because people don't go to Facebook to look for homes, right? People are on Facebook living their life. And if they're responding to a real estate ad, chances are they just want to know more about the property or know more about the process. They probably don't even know that they have a move coming up yet, right? Candace says it takes being very people-y. Yes, very social in so many ways. That's easy in some ways, but much harder in some of these newer ways. Yeah, video. Yes, it's absolutely.
You know, one thing I've noticed, Josh, that sometimes even the sucky videos get more views than, you know, the videos that you actually plan, you know, and put it out there. So just do it.
You know, you're so right. And to that point, almost all of the quote unquote influencers that I follow all say that. Like they'll spend all this time and energy on this video and they think, oh man, this is going to be a good one. And it's a complete dud. And then it's like the behind the scenes bloopers reel that gets all that blows up and goes viral that they're almost embarrassed to put out, right? Because it's relatable. It's like, oh, this person's a real life person. So true. Okay, it's 8:06. Again, thank you all so much for being on tonight, engaging and participating. We held a great crowd the whole way through, so it must not have been too bad. So I appreciate everyone this evening. If you guys ever need referrals and if you ever need a referral partner in Frederick, Maryland, don't forget about me at the Josh G on Instagram.
Thanks, Josh.
You're so welcome. You guys have a great night. Go crush it.
Thanks, Josh.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Josh.
Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Thank you so much.